Hi everyone. In the last class, we discussed about the zeros and singularities, types of singularity we have discussed. Right now, it is the time for defining the residue. What is the use of the residue? Why we defining the residue? Now we are going to discuss. Suppose if you take the function f of z be analytic function, the function f of z is analytic inside the closed contour on C or in a simple closed contour C. We say that by using Cauchy's integral theorem, CIT stands for Cauchy's integral theorem. Yes, we say that integral C f of z dz is equals to the integral value is equals to 0. When f of z is analytic inside the closed contour or on the closed curve C, we say that the integral value is 0 by using Cauchy's integral theorem or Gauss-Strauss theorem, Cauchy-Gauss-Strauss theorem. Right? We have this statement. Suppose if the function f of z is not analytic at one or more points inside the closed contour. Suppose if I am taking this is a one point, here it is z0, here it is z1, here it is z2, so on. As at these points at z0, z1, z2, the function is not analytic. We say that they are the singular points. Not only singular points, they are isolated singular points. At that point, the function is not analytic. In the neighborhood, the function is analytic. So, when we have the function f of z like this, f of z is not analytic inside the some points inside the closed contour C, or f of x has one or more isolated singular points. In this case, Cauchy's integral theorem cannot be used. So, Cauchy's integral theorem cannot be used means the integral value integral C f of z dz is equals to, that is may not be 0. Right? The value may be different from the 0. Sometimes it may be 0, but it is depends upon the evaluation. Right? But what is the reason why the integral value may not be 0? Yes, with the effect of these isolated singular points. Right? That means these isolated singular points contributes. Yes, these isolated singular points contributes the integral value, and each that contribution is called residue. This is very important concept. Each contribution is called residue. This is the basic definition of the residue. Why the integral value is not equals to 0? Yes, we have some isolated singular points at the so Cauchy's integral theorem cannot be applied. Cauchy's integral theorem cannot be applied means with effect of these isolated singular points, that means these isolated singular points contributes the integral value, complex integral value. So such contributions are called residues. This is the definition of the general definition of the residue. But what is the use of the residue? It means it is very important in evaluation of the complex integrals. Not only complex integral, in case of real integrals also the residues plays an important role here. Now coming to the as a residue of an analytic function. Residue of an analytic function at z is equals to z0, where z0 is an isolated singular point. Z is equals to z0 is an isolated point. So how we are going to find the residue of an analytic function? Residue contributes the complex integral value. So in this case, suppose if I am going to take f of z is analytic inside the closed contour C, except the point z is equals to z0, we say that it is a isolated singular point actually. But in the neighborhood also function is analytic except z is equal to z0, we say that it is isolated singular point. When we have the singular point, we may write the Lorentz series expansion for f of z. Yes, f of z is equals to, yes, you know that summation n is equals to 0 to infinity an z minus z0 about 0. We are writing the Lorentz series expansion for f of z about 0 plus summation n is equals to 1 to infinity bn, here it is z minus z0 whole to the power of minus n. So if you are expanding like this, f of z is equals to, suppose if I am writing a naught z minus z0 whole to the power of naught, it is a naught plus a1 into z minus z0 plus a2 z minus z0 whole square plus so on, plus now coming to b1 divided by z minus z0 plus b2 divided by z minus z naught whole square plus b3 divided by z minus z naught whole cube plus so on. This is the Lorentz series expansion for the function f of z about the isolated singular point z is equals to 0. But each bn is evaluated, we discussed in the previous class. Yes, b1 is evaluated by 1 by 2 pi I into integral c f of z dz. Right. Basically, you know that this is the analytic part, this is the principal part. If no terms are there in the principal part, that means singularity can be removed. In the last class we discussed it. Right. If one term is there, it is a simple pole. M terms are there, pole of order m. Infinite number of terms are there, f of x as f of z as essential singularity. So this is discussed earlier. Here bn is equals to 1 by 2 pi I integral c f of z dz. If in particular case, if I am taking n is equals to 1 here, so we have b1 is equals to 1 by 2 pi I into integral c f of z dz. From this we can write the value, right? Here it is integral c f of z dz is equals to 2 pi I into b1. Here it is the integral value when we have only one point z is equal to z naught is a singular point. The integral value is what? Integral c f of z dz into 2 pi I into b1, right? That means for the integral, the b1 is contributed for the value of the integral. This b1 is called a residue of f of z at z is equals to z naught. That b1 is called a residue. That means how only one term is there, that simply in the simple way, if you take the Lorentz series expansion for f of z at z is equal to z naught, the coefficient of z minus z naught whole to the power of minus 1 or 1 by z minus z naught, that is the coefficient is what? b1. This b1 is called residue of f of z at z is equals to z naught. This is the evaluation process. Yes, the concept is of the residue is what? The residues contributes, right? The isolated points contribute some for the integral value. That means that such contributions are called residues. Yes, 2 pi into something is what? Something is contributed for this integral. That's why this b1 is called a residue. Now, how we are going to find the residues? Right, the evaluation of the residues. This is very important. Calculation of residues. One by one we'll discuss here. First one, residue at its removable singular point. Residue at removable singular point. Right, I will give the direct formulas or I will give the notes, I will provide the notes also, no problem at all. Suppose if I am taking z is equals to z naught, z is equals to z naught is a isolated singular point or removable singular point. See, similarity can be removed, a singularity can be removed. How? Suppose in the calculation of the in problems, f of z is not defined at z is equal to z naught, but limit z tending to z naught f of z is exist. I given the example also, sin z by z 1 minus cos z by z, right? Z is equal to z naught if it is a removable singularity. Yes, it is a removable singularity means in this case, yes, in the Lorentz series expansion for the function f of z, the singularity can be removed. Right, in case of removable singularity, the singularity can be removed. If the singularity can be removed means, yes, it is only analytic part we have. We don't have any principal part. We don't have any principal part means we don't have any coefficient of z minus z naught all to the power of minus 1. So there is no term in the principal part. In this case, the integral value is integral c f of z dz is equals to 0. Is it clear? We don't have any residue. So that's why yes, the integral value becomes 0. Let us take one example here. In the last class I taken the example f of z is equals to sin z by z. Yes, clearly z is equals to 0 is a singular point. It is isolated singular point. Now if we go for the expansion for the f of z, here it is what we have 1 by z into sin z expansion z minus z cube by 3 factorial plus z to the power of 5 divided by 5 factorial minus so on. If you are multiplying with minus 1, here it is z square by 3 factorial with 1 by z plus z to the power of 5 divided by, sorry, z to the power of 3 divided by 5 factorial, so on. In this case, we don't have any, about z is equal to 0 here, about z is equal to 0 here, we don't have any coefficient of 1 by z here, or 1 by z, z to the power of minus 1 is there. So in this case, no singular, there is no principal part, there is no principal part, so there is no first term or second term in the principal part, that's why here it is b1 is equals to 0. So integral value from this, what I am writing here, actually 2 pi I into b1. Here b1 is 0, the integral value is 0. This is the calculation of the residue at a removable singular point. Next. Second one, residue at simple pole. Second one, residue at simple pole. These concepts are very important. As how we are going to find the residue at simple pole. At simple pole means only one term exists in principal part. In this case, what we have f of z, the Lorentz expansion for the function f of z, summation n is equals to 0 to infinity as an z minus z naught all to the power of n plus some b1 divided by z minus z naught. Right, we have the Lorentz expansion for f of z here. No terms are there, no problem, we write the integral value is 0. Here it is one term is there. That b1 is what? We know that b1 is residue. But how we are going to evaluate that b1? In this case, now multiplying with z minus z naught on both sides. So here it is z minus z naught into f of z to find the b1 value. Right, here it is summation n is equals to 0 to infinity, multiplying with z minus z naught. We have an into z minus z naught all to the power of n plus 1 we have. So b1 z minus z naught into z minus z naught, by z minus z naught into z minus z naught get cancelled. Now taking limit z tendings to z naught on both sides. So here it is z minus z naught f of z is equals to, as z tending to z naught, z naught minus z naught is 0, the summation every term becomes 0, that complete the analytic part becomes 0. So we have b1 only. So we have residue b1 is equals to, here limit z tendings to z naught, z minus z naught into f of z. This is the residue of f of z at z is equals to z naught, where z naught is a simple pole. So integral value becomes what? Integral value integral c f of z dz is equals to, what we have, 2 pi I into some b1, we can write it the b1, right? You will get the integral value easily. Or this is denoted by residue of f of z at z is equals to z naught. Need not to confuse it. This b1 sometimes I am writing some r1 or r2, or more than one singular points exist, or they are denoted by r1 r2. Here residue of f of z, z is equal to z naught, which is equals to limit z tendings to z naught, z minus z naught into f of z. This is a formula for finding the residue of f of z when z is equals to z naught is a simple pole. Right, if we have the function like this, this is a one way. If yes, this is b1 is equals to limit z tendings to z naught, z minus z naught f of z, or this is denoted by like this. Right, next. In this case, alternative definition, alternative method will discuss here. Suppose if we have a function f of z is equals to some pi of z divided by some psi of z. It is a rational function we have. Pi of z divided by psi of z, and z is equals to z naught is the simple pole of order m, or sorry, order 1. In this case, where pi of z and psi of z have no common terms, the condition is also very important. Pi of z and psi of z have no common terms. The terms are different in the numerator and denominator. In this case, and pi of z naught is not equals to 0, pi of z naught is not equals to 0. Yes, obviously psi of z naught is equals to 0, then only it is a singularity existing. And psi dash of z naught is not equals to 0. So I am writing the expansion for the psi of z, Taylor series expansion for psi of z about z is equals to z naught. We have psi of z naught plus z minus z naught into psi dash of z naught plus z minus z naught whole square divided by 2 factorial psi double dash of z naught plus so on. Right, here it is, you know that psi dash of it is what we have, psi of z naught is equals to 0. We have psi of z is equals to some z minus z naught into psi dash of z naught, psi dash of z naught. So the remaining, the powers of highest powers of z minus z naught, highest powers of neglecting terms, right, z minus z naught. Now here it is, now you know that from the simple pole definition just now we written limit z tendings to z naught as z minus z naught into as f of z. Just now I written limit z tendings to z naught, right, z minus z naught into as it is f of z, you know that pi of z divided by psi of z, some psi of z, which is equals to limit z tendings to z naught, z minus z naught into pi of z divided by, we have here it is z tendings to z naught, you may substitute it, no problem at all. Here it is psi of z is equals to what, z minus z naught into psi dash of z naught. Here it is z minus z naught get cancelled. As z tendings to z naught, we have the residue, it is pi of z naught divided by psi dash of z naught. Is it clear? This is a residue. This is a way of finding the residue of f of z when z is equal to z naught is a simple pole. When f of z in the form of a rational function, that is pi of z divided by psi of z. In this case we are going to verify when the numerator is not equals to 0, right, and denominator equal to 0, then only singularity existing, pi of z naught is not equal to 0. If you apply the previous one, you will get or this is a direct formula, b1 is equals to pi of z naught divided by psi dash of z naught. Suppose let us take one example here, as f of z is equals to some z minus 1 divided by z minus 2 we have. Clearly what do you say, z is equals to 2 is the isolated singular point. The terms are different in the numerator and denominator, right, in this case. So b1 is equals to, so we have this is pi of z, here this is psi of z. Yes, b1 is equals to limit, or directly you can write it, 2 is a isolated singular point, it is a simple pole. In this case pi of 2 divided by psi dash of 2. Pi of 2, it is nothing but 2 minus 1. As psi of z is equals to z minus 2, psi dash of z is equals to 1, psi of 2 is equals to 1, which is 2 minus 1 divided by 1, it is 1. You will get the residue easily, right? If you have the residue, then you can write the integral value, integral c f of z dz is equals to 2 pi I into 1. This is a great advantage of the evaluating the integral by using the residue concept, right? In previous when we are applying the Cauchy's integral formula, just you are going to check whether the point lies inside the closure contour or outside the closure contour. Inside the closure contour, you may write it integral c f of z dz, z minus z naught dz is equals, here also same 1 by 2 pi into something, right? As compared to that one, it is very easy, right? Yes, this is the case when f of z has a simple pole. Next, third case. Residue of f of z residue of f of z f of and where f of z has pole of order m. Pole of order m. I'm giving the derivation also there, I will provide in the notes, right? I'm giving the direct formula residue some b1 or residue of f of z at z is equals to z naught is equals to limit z tending to z naught, or before that write it 1 by m minus 1 factorial limit z tending to z naught, limit z tending to z naught d to the power of m minus 1 divided by dz to the power of m minus 1 of z minus z naught all to the power of m into f of z. This is the formula evaluating the residue of f of z when z is equals to z naught is a pole of order m. What is the meaning of pole of order m? In the last class we discussed the last class. Yes, what we have in the principal part in the Lorentz series of f of z, the principal part contains m terms. Suppose if you take the function f of z is equals to, here it is 1 divided by z minus 1 all to the power of 4. Here it is how many terms are there in the principal part? 4 terms. That's why it is a pole of order 4. In this case, the evaluation, the residue is what? To find this integral f of z dz inside the closed contour. As by using this formula, we can write it is 4 minus 1 factorial, right? Limit z tendings to 1, right? D to the power of 4 minus d cube divided by dz cube into, here it is z minus z naught. Z minus z naught, it is nothing but z minus 1 whole to the power of 4 into 1 by some numerator is that. If you have the numerator, suppose if you have some in this case the integral value may be different, you will get the 0, right? Here it is some 2z is there. Yes, it is what I am writing here, 2z divided by some 2z square. Yeah, I am writing 2z square divided by z minus 1 all to the power of 4. Yeah, z minus 1 all to the power of 4 get cancelled. Third derivative of 2z square, here it is 2z square, first derivative is 4z, second derivative is 4, this first derivative, second derivative, third derivative is 0. So here it is, the value is 0. In this case, in particular case, I am giving the general example. Is it clear? Yes, if we have the residue is 0, we can write the integral value is 0. This is the way of evaluating the residue of f of z when z is equal to z naught is a pole of order m. You are going to remember this formula, residue is equals to. Yes, here first one it is residue at removable singularity. This is previous residue at simple pole, residue at pole of order m. Next. Next, one more singularity we have, residue at essential singularity. I think fourth one, residue at essential isolated singular point. Essential isolated singular point. Right. In previous we discussed finding the residue at a simple pole, next finding the residue at a pole of order m. But here it is what is mean by when we write the f of z. Suppose if we have f of z, right? Here it is f of z. F of z is not analytic at z is equal to z naught, and z is equal to z naught is an essential isolated singular point, essential singularity. That means f of z has essential singularity. Essential singularity means the principal part contains infinite number of terms. Yes, the principal part contains infinite number of terms. You can write it the expansion for the f of z, Lorentz series expansion for the f of z, summation n is equals to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught all to the power of n plus some b1 divided by z minus z naught, some b2 divided by z minus z naught whole square, plus so on. You will get the infinite number of terms. The coefficient, yes, you need to expand it. In this case, in the previous, no need to write the Lorentz series expansion. But whereas in this case, compulsory you need to expand the, when the function has a essential isolated singular point, you are going to expand the you can write the f of z as a Lorentz series, then you take the coefficient of z minus z naught, that is your residue. If we have the b1 from this expansion, the integral value integral c f of z dz is equals to, or the residue is equals to b1, we can write it. Yes, compulsory you need to write the Lorentz series expansion for f of z, then you take out the coefficient of 1 by z minus z naught, that will give the residue, right? In previous not like that. In the removable singularity we can write the residue is 0. In simple pole direct formula, in pole of order m direct formula. Here it is, we write the Lorentz series expansion. Next, one more last case, it is residue at infinity. Here also I am giving the direct formula. Right, here it is residue at infinity. I think this is the fifth case. Residue at z is equals to infinity. Z is equals to infinity is an isolated singular point in this case. Here it is case, in this case, how we are going to find the residue of f of z at z is equals to infinity, right? Yes, if f of, suppose if you take the function, this is the function, it is analytic inside the closure contour C, or it is a circle, it is mod z is equals to R. It is analytic inside the closure contour C, there is no singular points are existing inside the a closure region or on the closure region. That means z is equals to infinity, you know that may be either is on the imaginary part or real part, or inside this is the infinity, right? That means in this region no singular points are existing. Outside the region, if you take the region mod z is greater than R, there is a singular point. In this case, this is the boundary. For this remaining this, except this whole, suppose except this one, that is here if you take this is the, in this the anti-clockwise sense, if you take this C, in the clockwise sense, if I am taking suppose in the clockwise sense, if you take some C star is the region consisting of the points mod z is greater than R. In the mod z is greater than R, definitely z is equals to infinity is the singular point. In this case, that means that contains some point infinity. Here not, maybe here existing or on real line or imaginary on top or bottom, left or right, whatever it may be, whatever the infinity is existing, that is a singular point, here isolated singular point. In this case, I am giving the direct formula as a residue of f of z at z is equals to infinity. You know that z is equals to infinity, we discussed it in the complex numbers. So we take z is equals to 1 by w, right? Dz becomes minus 1 by w square into dz divided by dw. It is dw is equals to, it is minus 1 by w square. So it is dz is equal to minus 1 by w square into something you will get, no problem at all. Here, listen, residue of f of z is equals to infinity is minus residue of f of 1 by w, z is equals to 1 by w, we take it now, residue of f of 1 by w at w is equals to 0. Is it clear? Yes, z is equals to infinity is the singular point for f of z, is same as w is equal to 0 is the singular point of f of 1 by w. So residue of f of z at z is equals to infinity is same as minus residue of f of 1 by w at z is equals to some not f of w, it is nothing but j of w I am taking. Here it is j of w, if I am taking j of w, right? Here where j of w is equals to, you may write it, j of w is equals to 1 by w square into f of 1 by w, right? 1 by w square into f of 1 by w, right? We'll take one example here. We'll discuss in the problems also, no problem. This is the, we have discussed the 5 methods here. First one, removable singularity. Second one, residue at simple pole, residue at pole of order m, residue at essential singular point, essential singularity, as a residue at infinity. Right, here it is no residue existing here, so the integral value is 0. Yes, we have the formula, here we have the formula. In this case, we expand the f of z as a Lorentz series and we take out the coefficient of 1 by z minus z naught, that is the residue. Here it is, this is the formula, right? Where if we take z is equals to 1 by w, here it is f of z is equals to f of 1 by w, dz by dw is equals to what? Here we have dz by dw is equal to minus 1 by w square. So dz is equals to minus 1 by w square into dw, right? So we know that how we can get this. see f of z dz is equals to, here it is integral c star will get, right? C star is different, so f of z is what? F of 1 by w, right? F of 1 by dz is what? Minus 1 by w square into dw. You take out a minus, it is here it is what we have, this can be taken as g of w, so integral c star g of w dw. W, this is the singularity at z is equals to infinity, same as singularity at z w is equals to 0. This is a procedure, right? Now coming to the evaluation of the residues. Compare the residues of the following first one. F of z is equals to z divided by z plus 1 into z minus 2. First we find the residues, then we go for the evaluation of the integrals by using the theorem, right? No need. Now we are going to find the residue. We should concentrating on the today's class we concentrating on calculation of the residues. Tomorrow's class, next class, finding the evaluating the integral, right? Okay, in this case now I first, in order to calculate the residue, first you should identify the singular points or isolated singular points, right? So in this case, first one is f of z has, by taking the denominator as 0, you will get the poles or singular points, right? That means that they are completely different, not repeated. F of z has z is equals to minus 1, z is equals to 2 are singular points which are different, or isolated singular points also, not only singular points, and these are simple poles, right? Simple poles. Now first one, residue of f of z at z is equals to minus 1, right? Yeah, what is the formula here? Limit z tending to z naught, limit z tending to z naught, z minus z naught into f of z. Or if you go for the alternative definition also, right, here it is limit z tending to z naught, z is tending to, z naught is what? Minus 1, z minus z naught, z minus minus half minus 1 is z plus 1, f of z is what? Z divided by z plus 1 into, here it is z minus 2. Here z plus 1 get cancelled, it is minus 1 divided by, yes, here it is z is what? Z is replaced by minus 1 minus 2, which is minus 1 divided by minus 3, which is equals to 1 by 3. This is the residue. Now coming to the second one, the residue of f of z at z is equals to another singular point, another simple pole is what? 2, equals to limit z tending to 2, z minus 2 divided by z minus 2 into z divided by z plus 1 into z minus 2. Here z minus 2 get cancelled, 2 divided by 2 plus 1, which is equals to 2 by 3. Yes, the residue of f of z at z is equals to minus 1, which is a simple pole, is 1 by 3, and the residue of f of z at z is equals to 2, which is a simple pole, is 2 by 3. Yes, you know that alternative definition, no? So we have the f of z is equals to z divided by, if yes, clearly you know that minus 1 comma 2 are the singular points. If you are expanding z square, then in the form of pi of z divided by some psi of z, z square plus z minus 2z, it is minus z minus 2, right? So pi of z is equals to z, psi of z is equals to z square minus z minus 2, right? The residue of f of z at z is equals to minus 1. What is the formula here? You know that pi of minus 1 is not equal to 0, psi of minus 1 is equal to 0, psi dash of minus 1 is not equals to 0. You may verify it, no problem. It is direct, you can write it some pi of minus 1 divided by psi dash of minus 1. So it is pi of minus 1, it is minus 1. The derivative is 2z minus 1. It is 2 into minus 1, which is minus 1 divided by minus 2 minus 1, which is 1 by 3. Yes, this is the residue. Other case. In the same way, if you go for the residue of f of z by using that formula, residue of f of z at z is equals to 2. What I am writing here, pi of 2 divided by psi dash of 2. Pi of 2, it is nothing but 2 only. A psi dash of z is 2z minus 1. It is 2 into 2 minus 1. So which is 2 divided by 3. So that we get the same answers. Next. Second problem, f of z is equals to z square divided by z square minus 2z plus 2. Z square divided by z square minus 2z plus z. Write it in the form of pi of z divided by psi of z. If you write the pi of z naught divided by psi dash of z naught, you should identify the z naught, right? That means singular points, isolated singular points we need to identify and check whether they are simple poles or pole of order something, right? So the poles are given by, the singular points are given by as you wish. Now I am writing directly, the poles are given by, the poles of f of z are given by z square minus 2z plus 2 is equals to 0. Factors are not getting directly, so we go for z is equals to minus of minus 2 plus or minus 2 whole square minus 4 into 1 into 2 divided by 2, which is z is equals to 2 plus or minus square root of 4 minus 8, it is minus 4 divided by 2, which is 2 plus or minus 2i divided by 2. Here 1 plus or minus I. Therefore z is equals to 1 plus I comma 1 minus I, or what type of poles? Are simple poles. Simple poles, right? Now if you take now I am going to, for my convenient, I am going to take, let z1 is equals to 1 plus I, z2 is equals to 1 minus I. So you can write f of z is equals to, you may write it z square divided by, it is they are the factors, so z1 comma z2 are the factors of the denominator. Here it is z minus z1 into z minus z2, right? Now I am going to find the residue of f of z in each case. First one, residue of f of z at z is equals to z1. Yes, you know that directly you may take the previous one or alternative also, limit z tending to z1, z minus z1 into f of z, what we have, z square divided by z minus z1 into z minus z2. Here z minus z1, z minus z2 get cancelled, sorry, z minus z1, z minus z1. Here z1 square divided by z1 minus z2. Yes, you are going to substitute, z1 is equals to 1 plus I here, 1 plus I whole square divided by 1 plus I minus of minus 1 plus I. So minus 1 plus 1 get cancelled, 1 plus I whole square, 1 minus 1 plus 2I, plus 2I divided by, here it is 2I. So we have 2I get cancelled, the residue is 1. Next other case, residue of f of z at z is equals to z2. Here limit z tending to z2, z minus z2 into z square divided by z minus z1 is z minus z2. Yes, z minus z2 get cancelled. We have, here it is z square, z2 square divided by z2 minus z1. z2 square is nothing but 1 minus I whole square, it is 1 minus 1 minus 2I by z2 minus z1, 1 minus I minus 1 plus I. Here it is 1 minus 1 plus, it is 2I we have. So here it is minus 1. So the residue of f of z at z is equals to 1 plus I is 1. Residue of f of z, z is equals to 1 minus I is minus 1. Next, cot z. F of z is equals to cot z. Right. This can be written as f of z is equals to cot z. You know that cos z divided by sin z. The poles are given by sin z is equals to 0. That implies z is equals to n pi or k pi, whatever it may be. N pi I am writing. N is equals to 0 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2, so on. Infinite number of poles we have, but each pole is a simple pole, right? N is equals to 0, one simple pole. N is equals to 2 is a simple pole. Or simply if I am taking that, if I are taking k pi, here it is, k is equals to some zk. K is equals to 0 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2, which are simple poles. Simple poles. Each pole is the simple. Infinite number of poles, in that each pole is a simple. But in the form of f of z divided by some which is some pi of z divided by some psi of z. As if you take these values, that is pi of z cos z is not equals to 0 and psi of z is equal to 0. Psi dash of z is what? Psi dash of z is equals to psi of z is equals to sin z. Psi dash of z is equals to cos z. Right. Now residue directly I'm finding the general, right? In general, the residue of f of z, at z is equals to zk. So you can take any value of zk. K is equal to 0, k is equals to 1, pi, k is equal to minus 1, minus pi, right? So in general I am writing here. So it is a residue. So that is residue of f of z at z is equals to zk. You know that what is the formula here? Pi of zk divided by psi dash of zk. Right here. In this case, what we have? Pi of zk cos of zk divided by, here it is cos of zk. Is it clear? You can take any cos 0 divided by cos 0, cos pi divided by cos pi, cos minus pi divided by cos minus pi. Cos zk get cancelled. So the residue of f of z at 0 is 1. The residue of f of z at pi is 1. The residue of f of z at z is equals to minus pi is 1, right? This is a generalization. So in this case, the residue of f of z at infinite number of each simple pole, the residue is 1. Next. F of z is equals to a fourth one. F of z is equals to secant z, which is 1 divided by cos z. Here also in the form of same. The poles are given by the poles of f of z are given by cos z is equals to 0. That implies z is equals to, what I am writing here, 2k plus 1 into pi by 2, where k is equals to 0 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2, so on. That is zk I am taking. So it is in the form of pi of z divided by some psi of z. At these values cos z is 0, but sin z is equals to pi of psi of z is equals to, we have cos z, that implies psi dash of z is equals to minus sin z, which is not equals to 0 for all zk, right? Now residue of f of z at z is equals to zk is pi of zk divided by psi dash of zk. Right? Here in this case, alternative formula is applicable in case of simple poles. Right? Pi of zk, it is constant, that is 1 is there here, which is equals to pi of z is equals to 1 here. So it is 1 divided by psi dash of zk. So psi dash sign of odd multiples of pi by 2, alternatively positive and negative. Already minus sin z is there, minus sign of zk. If I am taking sin z is equals to pi by 2, sin if I am taking k is equals to 0, we have pi by 2, sin pi by 2 is equals to 1, sin minus pi by 2 is equals to minus 1, sin 3 pi by 2 is 1, 3 pi by 2, sorry, sin 3 pi by 2 may be 1 or plus or minus 1, as it means alternatively positive and negative will get the minus 1, so this can be written as minus 1 whole to the power of n, right. Some k is equal to 0, you will get 1, k is equal to 1 minus 1, k is equal to 2 plus 1, like that you will get the residues, and these are simple poles also. This is very important, these are simple poles, right. This is the way of finding the residues. Next, if you take one problem, f of z is equals to, you may try it, 1 by z cube plus z to the power of 5. Identify the poles and finding the residues at each case. Next, f of z is equals to sz square divided by z to the power of n minus 1. N is any positive integer. Right, here it is, the poles are given by, the poles of f of z are given by z to the power of n minus 1 is equals to 0, z to the power of n is equals to 1, z is equals to 1 to the power of 1 by n. That is nth root unity. Nth root unity is 1 to the power of 1 by n, can be written as 1. How we can get so many values are there, z is equals to, I am writing here 1 to the power of 1 by n can be written as e to the power of 2 pi ki by n. For these values, one can written as like this. So these are the zk I am taking. This pi of z is equal to z square, which is equals to pi of z is equals to z square, psi of z is equals to z to the power of n minus 1, psi dash of z is equals to n z to the power of n minus 1. Alright, so yes, which are simple poles, k is equals to 0, one pole, k is equals to plus 1 minus 1, you will get that like that. So the residue of f of z at z is equals to zk, more than one, which are simple poles, more than one, that is the reason I am finding the general residue, right. It is psi of zk, sorry, pi of zk divided by psi dash of zk. So which is psi of z square. Z square is nothing but what? Z is equals to, we have no. So zk, psi of zk is nothing but e to the power of 2 pi I k by n whole square divided by psi dash of zk, n into, so here it is e to the power of 2 pi I k by n whole to the power of n minus 1 we have. So after simplification you will get this, I think this will be 0 here, n minus 1 you can take out this 1 to the or you take out the minus 1 to the numerator, we have e to the power of 2 pi I k by n whole cube divided by n into e to the power of 2 pi I k by n whole to the power of n. N minus 1 is there, you take out that minus 1 to the numerator, so this and get cancelled, the value is what, 1 here, 2 pi k I is 1, so we have it is 6 no, e to the power of 6 pi I k by n divided by n. Right, this is the residue. If you are taking the k, you will get the different residues here. Okay.